Hello, and welcome to the How Legacy Building Adds Value to General Contractors webinar. I'm Eric Dene, Vice President of Sales at Legacy Building Solutions, and your moderator for this webinar. Before we begin, I want to call your attention to the questions area at the right-hand side of your screen. You can submit your questions there anytime, and our presenters will answer questions at the end of the webinar. We will also provide a complete written Q&A to everyone who registered for today's event, which will include questions we aren't able to answer live. Presenting today are Adam Laidlaw and Paul Smith. Adam and Paul are both founding members of the Legacy team and have combined 30+ years in the industry. Now they are focused on working with customers in bulk storage industry, which includes fertilizer, agricultural commodities, frac sand, and salt. Paul and Adam, like all our sales staff, work with customers throughout the fabric building process to provide value before, during, and after construction. And now, here's Paul.
Thanks, Eric. Today we will be focusing on how Legacy Building Solutions and our fabric buildings add value to general contractors, particularly in bulk storage applications. We will focus on the advantages of fabric buildings on a rigid steel frame, as well as our experience in the storage industry. You will learn more about Legacy's process and how we work with contractors and customers. Legacy Building Solutions was founded in 2010. At that time, our founding members, including Adam and me, had over 80 years of experience in the industry, including thousands of buildings for storing fertilizer, commodities, salt, and other bulk material. When Legacy was founded, our goal was to create a better fabric building. In 2010, fabric buildings had a reputation as one-size-fits-all solutions that were mostly suitable for temporary use or as less expensive alternatives. We knew there was a way to introduce higher quality fabric buildings that would require less maintenance and have a longer warranty. We landed on the idea of a rigid steel frame. Rigid steel frames have been used for decades in all sectors of construction, but no one had ever done a rigid fabric building before. Our team created the technology that integrated fabric with a rigid steel frame. We'll talk a bit more about that later on. Today, we focus on adding value to the project from conception to completion. We are a vertically integrated company, which allows us to control the quality of timing of each project. Our buildings are constructed using proven engineering principles. Our team focuses on innovation and quality every step of the way. And we offer every customer complete customization to make sure the building provides long-term value for their unique use. As permanent and semi-permanent buildings, our buildings are held to the same engineering standards as all other building types. You wouldn't want to take unwarranted shortcuts with an important asset like a building, or risk the health and safety of the people in and around the building. When Legacy started, we worked with established building software companies to design software that works with the fabric. Every aspect of the building design and potential pressure is calculated using generally accepted engineering guidelines. All buildings are designed using this specialized software with manual quality checks. The primary difference between Legacy buildings and other fabric buildings today is that most other buildings are built with open web trusses. Because these trusses are not designed using standard engineering software or engineering practices, relying on open web trusses means placing a lot of faith in one engineer's calculations. This introduces a high probability for errors, especially when trying to add any type of customization to the building. Open web trusses have limited design options. Trusses are fabricated in standard sizes, leaving customers to choose between a risky under-engineered truss or a more expensive over-engineered truss. Trusses are also prone to movement under environmental loading such as wind or snow. This often leads to increased maintenance and downtime on conveyors when compared to similar equipment hung from a rigid frame system. By using a rigid frame building, Legacy offers the option to completely customize every building and have it meet building codes as well as customer needs. And all calculations can be easily replicated and easily understood by any building professional. A top benefit of the rigid steel frame is complete design flexibility. You can see some different building designs on the slide. This is just a sample of the options available with complete design flexibility. Some collateral loads are not distributed evenly among the building frames. For example, conveyors and cranes. With rigid steel beams, these loads can be placed anywhere on the building or along the beam for truly customized placement. Every aspect of the building shape and size is customized to meet the customer's needs, down to the inch. This means plenty of space for piles, loaders, and other equipment or processes inside the building without overpaying for space that will later be wasted. And it's more than just the ability to customize the size and shape of the building that brings benefits to your customer. With our experience in the industry, we are often able to make recommendations that will enhance the finished product and/or save you money. For example, this customer originally requested a 60-foot wide building and a separate 40-foot wide building with a connecting breezeway. Instead, we suggested one building 100 feet wide with a divider wall splitting the building into a 60-foot and 40-foot section. This design change resulted in a more efficient overall building for the customer, along with significant savings on the foundation, materials, installation, electrical, etc. And now, Adam will talk about design options for fabric buildings.
Thanks, Paul. Many bulk storage buildings are also used for other tasks, including loading, sorting, and mixing. To make these operations more efficient, Legacy offers design options that are not available in typical fabric buildings, including offset peaks, varying leg heights, and lean-tos. These options allow the owner to get the most cost-effective building for their particular operation, regardless of design product flow or site restrictive challenges. Here's an example of a bulk storage building that has multiple functions. The Ohio Department of Transportation needed to store bulk road salt, as well as a covered area for equipment maintenance. The 110 by 130 area holds the salt, while the 30-foot lean-to has 4 truck bays, which are used to store and maintain vehicles. Both functions have dedicated space without the expense of 2 separate facilities. The rigid steel frame also opens up the possibility of overhangs. Overhangs serve a number of purposes. One of the most important is added ventilation. The space underneath the overhang provides an effective source of air intake along the length of the building, rather than just end wall vents, which allow air to blow in from both ends, travel about 60 feet, and then leave a stagnant area in the center of the building. Overhangs bring fresh air in along the entire length of the structure. Peak vents exhaust the warm, moist air for a maintenance-free gravity ventilation system that works without ongoing costs. Overhangs are also used for water management. Gutters and downspouts may be added to the overhangs to divert the flow of water and provide a dry area around the building. In many situations, the water management system is required to provide a safe walkway or to protect landscaping or other surrounding features. Many legacy building designs include icebreakers, which break the sheets of snow and ice into more manageable chunks before they strike the ground. Canopies are another option to keep the area around doorways and openings dry. Lean-tos are used to increase the square footage of the building and to create separate space. In bulk storage applications, lean-tos are often used for equipment storage, covered loading areas, circulation paths, or distribution. Legacy is the only team that regularly designs and installs fabric buildings with lean-tos. In bulk storage applications, the weight of stored materials puts significant pressure on the sidewalls of the building. The solution is concrete retaining walls. The typical legacy building uses precast concrete panels to create retaining walls and bins. Precast panels are much more cost-effective and faster to install than cast-in-place concrete walls. Another benefit of legacy service is our 3D pile modeling. The first step toward realizing long-term ROI for a bulk storage building is to determine the space needed based on the size, type, and number of commodities to be stored. A building that is too small will cause problems from day one, and a building that is too large will incur extra expenses that can eat away at your profits. Using computer-generated pile drawings, such as these by Legacy, will show the square footage needed to store the required tonnage. Then our designers draw a building around the pile drawings, including the necessary height for containment walls and the building itself. This building is an example of pile drawings assisting in building design. The customer needed to store 6 different products in separate bins. The Legacy team created models to show the size of each individual pile. This model demonstrated how products would fit in the available footprint and determined the height of the storage bins. The building storage cavity was designed around those piles. After the storage area was designed, the Legacy team added lean-tos to create space for loading operations and equipment storage. With the straight wall design and custom engineering, doors, windows, and openings can be placed anywhere along the end walls or side walls of a rigid frame building. Jack beams can allow for extra wide openings at the side walls. Building design may be adjusted to accommodate any number and size of doors, including mega doors, bifold doors, bottom rolling doors, multiple overhead doors, or other openings. Of course, one reason fabric buildings are so well known in the fertilizer industry is because the fabric is non-corrosive. Fabric is naturally inert to corrosion. This has made these buildings especially popular for storing corrosive materials, including salt and fertilizer. Legacy steel frame design enhances this resistance to corrosion. One of the problems with the hollow tube trusses is that the tubes have a hollow center, as you can see here, where corrosion can begin undetected. By the time this corrosion is visible to the user, the damage is too widespread and is impossible to repair. With a rigid frame, all areas are visible. If corrosion does happen, the small areas can be easily corrected by sanding or sandblasting and then recoating. Legacy buildings are among the most corrosion-resistant storage buildings on the market today. In most cases, the frames are placed at 20-foot intervals, compared to the 8 to 16-foot on-center trusses used by others. This means less steel surface area that is vulnerable to corrosion. We offer 3 options to protect the frame from corrosion: hot dip galvanizing, epoxy paint, and an interior liner. Hot dip galvanized steel is dipped into a vat of molten zinc. The zinc forms a sacrificial metallurgical bond with the steel in order to drastically slow the corrosion process. Hot dip galvanizing occurs after steel frames are fabricated, protecting the entire surface of the steel. And it's epoxy coating. It's a polymer material that is applied to the steel as a protective barrier. The epoxy permanently coats the steel, stopping corrosion before it even begins. For the highest level of corrosion protection, we add a fabric liner to the underside of the building frame. The liner is a continuous membrane that seals the building frame inside a layer of fabric, physically preventing any corrosive elements from settling on the building frame. The bottom line with customizable frame is that by adjusting the size or spacing of the beam, you really have unlimited design options. We've focused here on customizations that are popular in the bulk storage industry, but options like alternative wall cladding, solar panels, insulation, and more are also available. And here's Paul to talk some of the features of legacy buildings.
Thanks, Adam. Another difference between legacy buildings and other fabric building companies is the fabric itself. Legacy uses exclusive Exotech PVC fabric. Exotech comes in 2 varieties, Elite and Pro. Independent lab testing has shown that Exotech Elite is twice as strong as the polyethylene fabric used in most fabric buildings. In the grab tensile test, a standard measurement of fabric strength, 12-ounce PE supported 350 pounds of pressure. Exotech Elite supported 745 pounds, over twice as much pressure. And in other independent testing, the Exotech is shown to retain 91% of that strength after 13 years of weathering. Exotech is also competitively priced with PE fabric. It is naturally flame retardant and self-cleaning and comes with a 25-year warranty. Last year, we placed a skid steer loader with snow bucket on a sample of our Exotech Elite fabric. That's the CEO of our company driving the loader. As you can see, the fabric combined with the attachment system supported the full weight of the skid loader, over 10,000 pounds. The next day, the fabric showed no sign of damage besides being a bit dirty. But fabric was never the reason that fabric buildings became known as portable structures with short lifespans. The longevity and quality of the structure is largely determined by how the fabric is manufactured and attached. Fabric panel manufacturing is one area where we learn from the mistakes of others. Our fabric panel manufacturing team works to precise measurements that allow us to ensure the exact amount of pretension required for each fabric panel to ensure a long life and fabric free from excessive movement. One of the ways we corrected the deficiencies of fabric buildings is by creating a new attachment system, which is now patented. Rather than the large monocover sheets that stretch over the walls and roof of the building, Legacy uses 20-foot roof panels that are welded together and attached to the framing members. This system evenly distributes the pressure created by wind, snow, and fabric tension to every frame, not just the end frames. The fabric attachment is via Keter rail, which slides horizontally on the flange to create proper tension. But the biggest and most important part of Legacy's attachment system is the change to through bolting track from smaller tech screwed on track. The tech screws are vulnerable to errors during installation, as well as snapping off when exposed to corrosion and high winds. The stronger bolts are installed correctly every time, and a 1/2-inch steel bolt head will not snap off. The Legacy patented fabric attachment system allows for greater pretension on the width of the panels, which means more horizontal tension and a longer lifespan for each panel. There is also a greater vertical or up and over tension because the fabric is tensioned in a straight line, not around any radiuses. This increases the system's longevity, especially in cases of severe weather. The fabric overlaps to create a waterproof barrier. This system eliminates hand tensioning, lacing, and large covers that are vulnerable to friction. In Legacy buildings, the roof and the walls are separate panels. End panels are attached vertically and horizontally, which is better than the industry standard. Legacy increases the lifespan of the fabric by double layering the fabric anywhere it comes into contact with the steel as well. Installation crews also take special care around doors and windows and at fabric termination locations. Separating the roof and the wall panels created the eave system and eliminated the ratchets and straps. You've probably seen these ratchets and straps loosen over time on other buildings, or even corrode and fail. Eliminating these ratchets, along with our other improvements to the system, means we can warranty the fabric tension for the life of the building, without requiring the building owner to retension the building ever. Another significant advantage of this system is the increased safety and the speed during construction. Frames are completely braced and all cross cables are installed and tensioned prior to installing the fabric onto the building. The frames do not need to be flexed or bent as shown in the bottom rendering, allowing for the fabric to be properly installed. Safety is always first during construction, a vital consideration on many commercial and industrial sites. And that's what makes Legacy buildings different. Customers will appreciate the quality and customization of the Legacy building system. However, we also add value to the overall project. We've talked a bit about our expertise in building design and what that means for you. Now we will focus a bit more on who we are as a company. And Adam will wrap it up with some more advantages of Legacy.
Thanks, Paul. Here at Legacy, we value innovation. We have a team of people who meet regularly to discuss improvements to the building system. These improvements range from tweaks to make the installation more efficient to more efficient building design options. The research and development that goes into these buildings is a continuous process. Of course, our sales team are highly trained experts as well. Our team works together to recommend the best value to every project. One thing about Legacy is that we know your project. You're not a number to us, you're a customer with unique needs. Legacy is a one-stop shop for building design, manufacturing, and installation. We offer in-house engineering to assist in foundation design to help get project cost budgeted up front, along with making sure the building is designed to local code correctly from the beginning, saving time and money later on in the project. All building components, including the fabric and frames, are manufactured here at our Minnesota facility. We do this because it allows us to control the quality of the materials and the process. Our process is certified by ISO 9001:2015, and we maintain other certifications, including CWB, AWS, CSA, A660, and Florida Product Approval. It allows us to control the project calendar as well. With that, we can make promises and keep them, so you can keep your promises to your customers. The installation is typically completed by our in-house crews. We use the most experienced crews in the industry. They pay very close attention to fit and finish and detail, which is what helps the fabric last long term. We stay with the project from beginning to end, and even send someone to do finish work after you install any interior building systems. One advantage of fabric is that it installs quickly. Fabric panels are installed in about 1/3 the time of traditional metal roofing. Our professional install crews work long hours so your building is ready to use sooner. These guys work hard, they know what they're doing, and it really shows. And there's service after the sale. All of our buildings have a warranty, even in corrosive environments like fertilizer storage. Legacy's fabric attachment system has virtually eliminated service calls, which was our goal from the very beginning. And that's the Legacy difference. Our goal is to make you look good and to add value to the projects, both for you and your customers. Now I'll turn it over to Eric for the Q&A. Remember, you can submit questions through the GoToWebinar tool, and a written copy of all questions and answers will be sent out within the next few days. Eric?
Thanks, Adam and Paul. Paul, what is the lifespan of the fabric?
Typical lifespan of our Exotech Elite is going to be 30 to 35 years. The warranty on our fabric is 25 years standard.
All right. And Adam, how do you repair damage during the fabric's lifespan?
Now, there's a few different options. The first one, for a small tear is we can actually send you a product we call sticky tape. It's the fabric itself with an adhesive backer on it. The other option is for have our crew to come out and actually do an in-the-field heat weld for a larger tear. Or if there's significant damage, we can always just replace one of the panels altogether.
All right. And Adam, does this type of building require a foundation or a footing?
Most of the time, yes, they do. It's basically the same thing as any steel building, where you're going to need a spread footing and a pier, or there's sometimes that we can get by with using mega blocks, something along those lines, but it's very rare.
All right. What is the largest size building that we have done to date, Paul?
To date, I think the largest free span we've completed is 220. Lengthwise, we can do anything that we see fit. We have the software capability, and we have designed and done drawings and had them approved for over 300 free span as well. So really the width and the design capabilities are unlimited with us here at Legacy.
Okay. And Paul, what is the warranty on the building itself?
There's two parts to the warranty. One is the steel framework. Standard warranty on the steel framework is 15 years, and that's in a corrosive environment. And then the fabric is the other warranty that we put on. Using our Exotech Elite and our fabric attachment system, we will actually warranty our fabric for 25 years. It's not so much the fabric, although that's a big part of it. It's the attachment system that really goes into us being able to warranty it that long, being able to keep the building tight, keeping it from movement under winds and snows, and increasing the longevity.
All right, and that was the last question we had for today. Thanks everybody for attending. We will follow up with a video of today's webinar and the full Q&A. Adam and Paul are also available to answer your project-specific questions anytime. Feel free to contact us using the information on the screen now. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good day.